thing started, man. You want me to do the introduction, man? You look a little lost over there. I'll go. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Juice, aka Nor Their Brother, aka a Rising Fair, coming back with a new podcast episode. What's your name, brother?
I go by the name of King Exodus, aka X. And as always, we like to give a shout out to everybody that's locked into the channel, everybody that's tuning in via IG Live. We appreciate the support. We appreciate y'all, watching us talk that talk. So what we talking about, man?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I came up with the subject the other day. It's reconnecting. Reconnecting with people, hobbies, and things, right? I kind of look at connections between individuals like this, right? There's a visible string between me and X, right? Let's say like something that doesn't work out, that string then gets cut. And then when it comes to repairing a relationship, I then look at it as that invisible string that's connecting us is being reattached, but this time it's not as strong, it's not as straight. It's now connected with a loop because that fallout is still there. That's why it has that loop now. So it's interesting to me when I see people say like, hey, don't hold grudges, hey, don't do this, or forgive somebody of their actions. It's interesting to see things play out when it comes to the reconnecting part, right? For myself, when it comes to people, if somebody made a foul move the first time, me to reconnect and be on the same accord with them is very difficult. Some people can look at it like, oh, they messed up, forgive and forget, but it's like, why did any of this have to partake for us to fall out? Why was the actions being made for this to for this to happen? Now, hobbies, when we look at hobbies, people always say, hey, look, I no longer love the sport. That's another thing some people want to reconnect with, is getting back in touch with the sports, but they're not sure like how they found that passion, right? We can remember Creed 2. After he got knocked out, he still had to find his rhythm. Like, man, I don't know what it is. I just can't get back into the rhythm. But he found that connect when his daughter was crying and he was punching a bag and she got quiet. So he was like, okay, now he has a new purpose for reconnecting with the sport. And I felt like we needed to shine some light on this subject. So I brought it to X's attention, man. You want to go ahead and touch up on it yourself?
Yeah, no doubt. I think the most important key in reconnecting, especially like in personal relationships, is we overlook the communication aspect. A lot of people, after conflict has taken place, anybody can argue. Anybody can take shots at somebody. That's easy, you feel me? But I look at it like the energy that you put behind taking shots at people and arguing should be the same energy you should take in fixing the situation. So if a person is quick to argue but slow to have the conversation that needs to be had in order to reconnect without loopholes and loops and shit like that, then that's the responsibility and the maturity of not just one but both people that's involved into the chaos. So in order to do so, a lot of people unconsciously start shit and don't consciously accept that they started shit. So in their brain, they thinking someone's response is the first swing, but just because you don't realize you punched somebody in the mouth, it don't mean that you didn't swing, because you're using your perception based on what you did. So you can knock the shit out of somebody and be like, what? I ain't do nothing. And they sitting there bleeding in front of you, but that goes back to the main basis is the communication. Now conflict has taken place. Do the same people that was throwing shots at each other sit down and put the same energy into reconnecting? And a lot of times that don't happen, because if a lot of people don't see themselves in error at first, then in their brain they accept it as the other person is wilding and I'm responding to them. So and then a lot of times people in those situations, they either look for mediators or people to vent to make them feel like they're right. And they can only express the situation from their point of view. Growing up, I always heard there's 3 sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth. Not just 2. So a lot of times when people vent, you got to be careful who you vent to, because not everybody you vent to is going to be like, I hear what you're saying, but can you tell me one thing you did wrong? or do you see yourself wrong for anything?
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Some people will hype you up in error.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just say, in order to reconnect, man, people have to be mature enough to have that same energy when it's time to be grown. It's easy to be childish, very easy. You feel me?
Right.
But to be grown and mature and take care of shit, it take a lot of, you know what I'm saying, kahunas, nuts for men and women. You know what I'm saying? It's a meme that I love on Facebook. It was like, a woman will swallow your whole dick, but can't swallow her pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, this happens in multiple scenarios and situations. So, is shit repairable? Yeah. But I would say, to me, the most things that's not really repairable is just like complete disloyalty. Like, we really can't just bounce back from just complete disloyalty. Everybody got their pet peeves, you know what I'm saying? I could tolerate a little disrespect depending on who you are or how close we are. I could tolerate, you know, mistakes and shit like that, or, you know what I'm saying, little moments where you might not have acted with the most honor and shit like that, but...
Nah, I said what I said, man.
Complete disloyalty, you know what I'm saying? That shit ain't really repairable, but yeah, that's my take on that. And then what you said with the Creed shit is very true. Some people get disconnected from things that they love because of failure, and then it could be their kids or, you know what I'm saying, something outside of themselves that re-sparks that energy towards that, you know what I'm saying, particular thing. And that can make them come back 10 times stronger. Right. One of my favorite artists, Tupac, when he got incarcerated and shot, he was like, I gave up on rap. You know what I'm saying? But the responses to how people handled me when I was incarcerated is what made me come back more relentless, 10 times stronger. You know what I'm saying? People shitted on his name and disrespected him so much that that fire was reignited. But you also have to be careful on what lights your fire. Right. Because if it's lit out of pure anger and negative energy, that's hard to transmutate all of that into a positive. And you can fuck around and lose yourself behind the same fire that you fueling off of.
Correct.
So you don't want to burn yourself out. Man, fire, burn yourself out. Man, I'm done, man.
You know, you fight fire with fire. That's sometimes the only way it burns out. So, jumping back on the subject at hand, I just find it interesting when it comes to the, you know, reconnecting with people, you know. I feel like I said, I made a statement earlier, it's kind of rather difficult for me, you know. In fact, I actually did a poll not too long ago, did last night. I said, hey, reconnecting with people, hobbies and things, is it easy for you or is it difficult? You know, the poll was 45, 55, but I actually think it leaned more towards it's actually rather difficult. And as I looked up and searched the names of the people who clicked on rather difficult, was a person who also say, hey, you shouldn't hold grudges against somebody. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it was to the whole people, things and hobbies, or is it something, you know, specific within there? But it was interesting seeing that they actually marked the opposite side. You know, I thought they would say it's easy if you're telling me that grudges can be released, you know? So I do feel like when it comes to reconnecting with people, I don't know what it is, right? I had to give you a good example of the invisible string for a reason, because we're all connected in different ways, right? But the reason I use the string analogy is because if you see how strings are, and once they snip and they go in a loop, it gives you a whole mind frame of, oh man, okay, so look at relationships you might have to reconnect several times. You got more loops and more loops and more loops in it, because it will never just connect straight forward as it once did. That's why when people say forgive or forget, I ask myself, okay, is that a straight string when it happens, or is there a bigger knot trying to forgive or forget a person for the actions that happen at hand? So,
not to cut you off, but one key aspect that we have to bring up in the conversation is love. Some people, love is so strong that their reconnection process may not be that difficult versus people that don't have the same amount of love for each other. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like, a lot of people think that in love, those people don't hurt you, but in actuality, it's a lot of hurt and pain in the process of loving somebody.
Correct.
So, like I say, you know what I'm saying, just as long as a lot of, like, women have, to me, a strength that men don't have in that forgiveness process. Like a woman can forgive you for having a child on her, cheating on her multiple times. Women have this sense of reconnecting stronger than men, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? A man can go out there, cheat the whole relationship for 5 years. She texts one dude, he see the text message, he done for life. You know what I'm saying? He fucked around for 5 years, but
I got a whole statement on that when you done.
You feel me? So it's like, I think that in a particular sense, it's harder for men to reconnect than women.
It's hard for men to reconnect.
I think women are built more emotionally, even though we say they're emotionally weaker, in a lot of situations they are emotionally stronger.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So what I was gonna say to the statement that you just made, you said if a man cheats for 5 years and his woman cheats for at one time, he can't, forgive and forget, right? So there's a thing that happened with 21 Savage, right? He was with yeah, he was with what's his name? Dude from Philly, I forgot his name. Gilly the Kid, right? There was a statement that was being made, right? He said like if men cheat, it's more on a physical aspect, right? But if a woman allows herself to cheat with a man, then she has been conquered by another man. Because when you cheat, it's more than emotional. It's more than emotional. I mean, it's more emotional and physical. Where a man is more on a physical tense.
We say that, but
let me finish, man. Let me finish. Goddamn.
Go ahead, man.
No, you want to tell me? Slow down, little daddy. But like I said, it was on the basis that your woman has been conquered by another man. Now, in another podcast before, I have said like, yo, if it ever came down to a situation where I knew a chick had a man or she didn't, and we was interacting the whole time, I never felt like what she had with another man wasn't basically we're sharing the same woman at that point in time, especially if she still interacted with me. Because like I said, if it comes to that conquering standpoint, like some men's mindsets, not all, like I said, it is on a basis like imprinting yourself on that woman to a certain degree. But go ahead, man. Go ahead, talk.
All right, so I'm not saying I disagree, but I'm 50-50 on it because we paint this picture like every time a woman cheats, it's emotional and she's conquered by another man. What if your chick was so mad at you that
she had to cheat?
No.
I'm about to say, you already mentioned emotions right there. So
right. I'm 50-50.
Go ahead.
Let's say the emotion is there for her to cheat because she's retaliating or whatever the case is. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's say she's so angry, she's so whatever, that when she does cheat, she outperforms the man that she's cheating with. You know what I'm saying? Let's say she stayed on top majority of the time and made him squirm and bust and get out of control. Did she still get conquered by another man? Her emotion was sex out of anger and retaliation, and she fucked the shit out of this dude in retaliation. So was she now conquered? You know what I'm saying? So we can't just say that every time a woman cheats, she gets conquered by another man because another man is in her womb. She can fuck the shit out of him and have him going crazy, or whatever the case be. Or she could just do that and leave that alone. Women are not always emotionally intact with every sexual encounter that they have. And there's a lot of women out there that don't have no soul when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? like we say, some of these chicks is for the streets, so they ain't, you know what I'm saying? Or they could be really not for the streets, but if you hit that switch in them, some females could turn that switch on and off based on, you know what I'm saying, how they feel. So I don't want to make it seem like every time a woman step out is she's emotionally connected and dominant. Nah, that's not true. Some women can go out there and do their thing, and you'll never, like Tyler Perry said, you know what I'm saying?
Hey man, I'm trying to stay on the subject too.
Yeah, like Tyler Perry said, you know what I'm saying? A man will go to his grave thinking he was the only one. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying, what that woman did or whatever, or what she was able to pull off. But I don't think she gets conquered just because she, step up.
Okay, so just a backdoor.
50-50.
Before I backdoor one time before I go on that real quick. There are also women that have had side dude relationships longer than their own marriages.
Correct.
So what is it? What is that? Just
That's why I say some women,
Okay.
some women don't have that emotional connection like every other woman does.
Okay, cool. So back on this reconnected subject,
I feel like that was good.
man. You know, back on this reconnected subject. I know y'all like it when we go at it. This.
I wouldn't even say that was going at it.
No, but I'm saying this is what people don't understand. Like we really just roll the camera and just talk.
Yeah.
We just roll the camera and just talk. That's what people don't understand. Like I feel like maybe we'll do better if we start having more points and views, you know, discuss as we go down. But it's really just raw and uncut. That's why people be like, I like the fact y'all don't get up, y'all argue about subjects like right then and there. But yeah, so that's why we base this podcast basically as if we was talking over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So now when it comes to reconnecting, what are some ways I would say is a positive way to reconnect and a negative way to reconnect? Okay, so I was gonna go things I haven't really came to mind. You know, things I can say.
I can take it though.
Things can sometimes be hobbies. I was about to say like traveling or going to a certain point. I
can give you a thing scenario.
Go ahead.
Recent personal experience.
Okay.
A couple of weeks ago, everybody know I'm a complete gym addict. At one point I did 7 days a week, 6 days a week.
Okay.
It hurt me to go to 5 days a week. But a lot of people know I'm in the gym. So I told people, man, I had a little congestion for a couple of days. I was overwhelmed at work, personal life. And I ain't really just go to the gym for like 2 weeks. And people was like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, you really fucked up. And so in order for me to reconnect with that thing that's a hobby, I had to remember the reasons why I connected with it in the first place. And even still going through the reconnection, you know what I'm saying? Because now once you reconnect to a thing, now you don't have the same performance that you had prior. Now you have to build yourself back up, even not just where you was, but to a different peak. Okay. So I think it's hard to reconnect with things because sometimes people forget the very first spark that attracted them to that thing. Like even podcasting.
Right.
Even no matter what string me and Juice is on, I connected to the podcasting in such a fashionable way that it became part of who I am as far as being productive. I like the feeling of not being overwhelmed all the time, but being busy. So if I'm always working on this or editing or, you know what I'm saying, posting and shit like that,
okay,
it helps some people feel like I'm alive for a particular reason.
Right.
You feel me? So you just have to remember why you connected to something in the first place and just accept that when you get back into that ring or that gym or that job or whatever, or that craft, that you're gonna go through building blocks and progressive stages. Honor that. Feel comfortable in being in uncomfortable situations. You know what I'm saying? To know that you probably could lift 200 and now you're struggling with like 115 or, you know what I'm saying, something like that.
Yeah.
Enjoy that, because a lot of times you need to feel uncomfortable in order to know where you're heading or where you could possibly go. So now instead of getting to 225, I'm gonna probably try to do 230 or 240 or something like that. So enjoy the process. A lot of people want to skip steps, you know what I'm saying? Just enjoy the process. It builds character.
Yeah, just to backdoor off what he said about the gym, like a lot of people know I was a big gym addict at one point. I done fell out for several years, you know. I was like more so like just getting active doing shit outside of the gym. But he made a major point, right? Basically, I keep on saying new juice in the head, old juice in the body. It's basically when my body was at a nice physical standpoint. And I struggle with that myself, right? I was talking to one of my homegirls from New York. What's up, Megan? You know, I'm gonna go ahead and shout you out real quick. And I was like telling her like she's into health and fitness. That's her thing. That's her niche. And I was telling her like, man, I don't even feel like going to the gym. And then she just said something that woke me up. She was like, well, this is when motivation is no longer there. How disciplined are you? And she like hit me in the face. Like I was like, what the fuck did you just say? Like it pissed me off. It kind of pissed me off, but it lit a spark in me. I was like, yo, this was why I was really into it. Like, I didn't really care about motivation. It was just a discipline, like going there every day. Because this is the thing, like when you go to the gym and you meet other gym heads, they only acknowledge you if you're in there as much as them.
Facts.
Like, if you just, like, unless you a new dude just trying to make sure, like, hey, I don't do this to get a proper form. People that see you consistently will look at you, nod at you. Hey, what you working on today? Hey, look, when you free, let's work. They respect discipline. They respect discipline. Because, like I said, like, in my, fuck it. I'm not gonna say this is my prime. I feel like I can get back, I can get higher than what I was. But when I used to walk in the gym at one point, people would be just pointing at me, look at me like, hey, let me get in with you. Like, they want to work out with you. Because they didn't see you do it consistently for X amount of time. But so, like, me going into the gym now, I'm like, man, ain't nobody know me at this fucking gym, bro. And it kind of hits me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I kind of get a little discouraged at times, but it's at the same time, I'm rebuilding my body. Like he said, 225, man, I'm at like 150 right now. But I like the slow build. Like, my way of working out, he'll tell you, like, every 2 weeks, I add 5 more pounds to my workout. I like to build it slowly. Or I do it every 3 weeks. It's just, I like the slow progression. And the fact that when I leave the gym, I'm like, man, I feel like shit. And then I'll be pissed. But then another part will be like, man, I feel like shit. Okay, I put some work in.
Right. And going back on that, man, the correct discipline brings attraction. You feel me? Like, if people see you disciplined in whatever you're doing, and the discipline is strong enough, it'll bring attraction to you. You know what I'm saying? And that's also power, not just reconnecting, but connecting and networking. If people, like, we're using the gym analogy, but you feel me? Like, it applies to everything. If you're at work and people just see you killing it, your performance is up there, people are going to start gravitating towards you because of your performance. So, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people want this kind of energy and attraction, but they don't have the discipline to actually attract it. And then they get frustrated and then they quit. And now quitting makes it harder for you to reconnect with something. Because now you're emotionally overwhelmed with the fact that you quit. So a lot of times people quit and then blame everything else but their performance. We look at it in the music industry. Somebody may be like, he got the right deal. He got the right production. His shit sound better. He got the quality. His beats are better. Or whatever the case is. And you're overlooked in the fact that good product and good content is always going to sell.
Correct.
Because it's going to sell itself in a particular fashion. But going back to the conversation, you have to get over the fact that you quit at something in order to reconnect with the hobby. And it's okay to quit. You know what I'm saying? Some of the greatest people went through failures and quitting, but it's how they came back from that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't going to go too long on that.
No, man, that was great, man. I wanted to tell you, good job. Good job. You made me proud. Because like you said, in different areas and subjects, that's how you get respect, right? Somebody put in more work than you, or at work, they go, hey, look, man, I see you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's in every aspect of life. Whether it's rap, like for instance, man, I'll talk about rap. They were talking about like who was the hardest upcoming artist. I mean, hardest producer artist during the pandemic. And they gave out like four different people. I believe Megan Thee Stallion was one, Lil Baby was the other, The Baby and somebody else. I was like, Lil Baby. I was like, I'm not even a fan, bro, but he has been dropping consistently the whole time during the pandemic. I was like, I can't knock a man's work ethics.
And it's funny because he even made a post one time where he said he was the Lil Wayne of this generation. Work ethic wise, I agree.
Yeah, work ethic wise. Like I was like, yo, how did he lose that award? I was like, y'all tripping. But there's different things in politics. We gotta also remember what else happened during the pandemic. Wow. Well, let me not be petty for that second for the awards.
But,
yeah, man. But Ricky, like I said, even in that subject, like your discipline is always gonna get you another word. That's why I said before, I want my lifestyle to say I'm successful. When I should reveal my body, it needs to say discipline. When I open my mind, it needs to say powerful. You know what I'm saying? It's just things that you want to be able to connect and get back to the basics. Like they always say, like reconnect with your childhood. Like for some people, that's really hard. Everybody's childhood is different, right? I remember talking to a young brother not too long ago, and he was like, "Man, I've been wanting to do music, and I didn't really have the support and the friends and to do it. I said, bro, in high school, man, you said you was the greatest rapper alive. And it hit him in the head so hard. I was like, yeah, bro, I won't forget that. That he was like, bro, I needed to hear that. Like, some people forget the direction they planned for themselves to go in childhood, that reality hit them. Now they just kind of like going along with what reality gives them, whatever the world gives them. That's why one of my main focuses are making sure I stay connected to my goals in the future is when you have such a drive and you kind of hear people talk about like, yeah, man, I remember I used to want to do this, I used to want to do that, or I had that glare in my eyes at one time. I'd be like, man, I don't want to lose this shit, bro, because the way they're living their lives, they don't even sound happy, and that's why some people are like, man, if I can live my life through you, I'm good with that. No, you should want to live that life through yourself. But you know what I'm saying? People let time set in to a point, they forget to reconnect. What is it that's going to get you to that level? That's when reconnecting is powerful. So I say a negative reconnecting part, I guess, is reconnecting on toxic purposes, right? Toxic purposes is when that person was giving you all the benefits and you wasn't doing shit, right? When you manipulated or persuaded an individual to give you what you wanted, then you realize you try to do that with the next person and they're not giving it to you. So you apologize and say you're going to be a good person this time. That's the negative parts of reconnecting, I would say. But it's all up on you to realize, hey, do I really want to go through the same thing that I experienced before? That's why it's like, I believe in sometimes reconnecting should not even happen. You should be like strong enough to end ties with people and go about your separate ways.
All right. And one part of the conversation I want to bring up is what makes reconnecting negative sometimes is people outside looking in. Like, never let somebody judge you because you was mature enough to reconnect with somebody if the situation was repairable. A lot of people want to hold you to your outlashes and your anger. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, man, fuck this person. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then time pass, you reconnect with the person, and then a lot of people be like, you soft, or you weak now, or you a bitch.
Hey man, he talking some sense. Because he made me think about somebody right now. I hate this thing.
Because you was able to do some adult shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta look at it like, even out on no relationship shit, we really don't give peace its celebratory energy that chaos gets. When motherfuckers beef in the rap industry and they reconnect, we be like, them niggas bitches, they wasn't serious. I told you it wasn't real, or whatever. But when people shoot and get killed, then we like, oh my God, rest in peace.
Them niggas was really about it, man.
Yeah, or you saying, he went out like a G. That person not here no more. It don't matter how they went out, they ain't here no more. They kids, they family gotta go without them. Right. So why celebrate the death of somebody when you can celebrate the life of somebody? If people can reconnect and bury hatches and come together on a positive note, shut the fuck up. They don't need people telling them that they weak or soft for fixing a problem. That's what we supposed to celebrate, peace.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right now, if the U.S. go to war with somebody, let's see how happy you motherfuckers are then. If they could just drop a fucking nuke on us or some shit, then you're going to be screaming for peace. But it shouldn't have to get to that extent just for you to appreciate peace. And on the reconnecting with childhood, I think that's very powerful. It can be positive and negative. But I feel like you really can't sometimes conquer your life until you kind of like conquer your childhood. You got to reevaluate traumatic experiences in order to know how to deal with those traumatic experiences later in life.
Right.
And you have to connect with your childhood and look at the things that you didn't get in order to learn the things that you have to be taught or teach yourself. So you have to reconnect with your childhood via it be positive or negative. You just have to make it more so positive than negative. And then you got some people that just every time they go back, they just can't deal with it. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's all I got on that.
Hey man, that man was cooking, man. I gotta get that brother something, man. You know what I'm saying? I love this dude. So I'm gonna go into a little bit deeper what he said, like reconnected with your childhood. Now you can also look at things as houses, schools, certain areas, certain objects, certain materials that people see that'll give them like some type of trauma.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? And I think
tonight, boy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna confess on some shit today.
And I think like people don't really pay attention to how powerful it is. This is why this subject is actually kind of deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always, I'm a person I believe in therapy, right? Reconnecting can be damaging if you don't let it heal you, right? You gotta, like, some people go through so much traumatic things that they push through it so fast, it's slapping in the face from progress.
Mm-hmm.
I said in a podcast earlier this year, I was like, hey, I gotta go to therapy. I was like, I don't feel like I need it, but who knows if they ask a certain question and I reconnect with it, will it help advance me or push me through? I was listening to one of Kevin Samuel's podcasts, man. Y'all know I love that dude, The Godfather. Man, and certain episodes he did dedicated towards men I would keep re-listening to. And he said he worked so much to a point they forced him to go on vacation. Right? It was a 3-week vacation. And he said he was the top performer within his company. He said during that time period, you couldn't reset quarters. Your quarter was your quarter. So if I'm out for 3 weeks, he said, I'm not gonna hit my quarter. You know what I'm saying? I'm leveling at a 300% within the company. So if anything was to happen and I'm gone, I'm not gonna have a 300% no more. So he said when they forced him to go on vacation, he's able to relax, heal, and reconnect with things that was around him, that when he came back, he outperformed even more than what he originally did when he was just working for 3 years straight. So
Okay.
that's just a little something I want to bring to the light for a little second. You know what I'm talking about?
Hey, so, man, yeah, that was great, because it brought up a point in me of, I totally feel like I have survivor's guilt, and certain areas that I go back to, it's hard for me to go back to those areas, like areas where I know people close to me got killed, or you know what I'm saying, just like, I'm from Houston, so a lot of times when I go back to Houston, I just feel overwhelmed with sometimes survivor's guilt, because I think of situations that I was in and people that I lost. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hard. It's a hard experience for me, because within that same city, I do have love and loved ones. So just making that trip, you know what I'm saying? I have to really be disciplined and handle myself very, as mature as possible, because if not, I could just get overwhelmed with that feeling of survivor's guilt, or just thinking about things that I try to like run from. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times people, just like we're saying, on a mental health level, they just have certain things psychologically that they just have to deal with in order to reconnect with even places. Just two people that I think this fits perfectly. I follow a lot of content from like C.T. Fletcher and shit like that.
C.T. Fletcher, okay.
And when he almost died one time, you know what I'm saying, that was his reconnection, because he flatlined so many times, and then when he came back to, a person discredited his past performance and power building and his physique. The second time he had a heart transplant, he had to relearn how to walk. So this man, sometimes what I'm saying is, facing death can allow people to reconnect with life sometimes. That fight or flight.
The value of life itself reconnected. Okay, go ahead.
And then you have people like Big Sean said that on the flip side, the success overwhelmed him, because he forgot why he was doing what he was doing. He lost the connection to why he was making music in the first place. It's not to take care of my family and friends and get overwhelmed at work to where I'm constantly working and I'm paying bills and I'm successful. Sometimes that can stress people out. It's the stress behind success. That's why certain people say more money, more problems. You know what I'm saying? We just think that successful people are not in our same boats because they have more success. And sometimes that's stressful for people. A lot of times people that's successful, you know, they may commit suicide, they may be addicted to drugs, and people was like, shit, if I had all that money, I wouldn't be on no fucking drugs. I wouldn't be trying to end my shit. But you outside looking in because you don't know what that successful person indoors behind closed doors. So that's all I got on that. Sometimes success can overwhelm people, and sometimes even successful people have to reconnect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, I'm just going back to give that example real quick. As some of y'all heard during the beginning of this podcast, I was playing Donda by Kanye. Kanye definitely reconnected back to style, man. For myself, I'm not even a Kanye West fan, you know what I'm saying? But lately, his actions as a businessman is what has gravitated to me listening to more Kanye. What is his interviews, his speeches, his marketing, I was like, this dude's a genius. Like, who sat there and went on tour to where you went into a stadium to listen to an album before you dropped the album? I was like, that's fucking genius. And it was sold out. Like, nobody looked at the stuff that he does, right? So the way I was listening to his music, he's reconnected with the church, he's reconnected with, like I said, it sounded like some college dropout or some more mature stuff. And he made a double album to it. It's kind of, the second part is more so like more verses, a little bit of the change of the beat. But it was beautiful. Like, I listened to it, it's a long album. I listened to it today, I was just like, what are they talking about? I was like, this album is brilliant. Like, it's very rare you get to people's albums and you can listen just straight through it without skipping a track. And that album's an hour and 46 minutes. It's like watching a movie, basically. And I was like, I didn't skip nothing. I was like, if anything, I went back to the same songs and replayed them a couple of times. I'm like, yo, this was a great album. But like I said, it took Kanye. We know, look, Kanye went through some things. Mentally, financially, spiritually, even he's going through something with his own wife. But even through all that, he threw it into the music to where he could reconnect with his fans and even make more fans. So it's, you know, sometimes things are an escape to how can you say, better relationships, reconnecting with their purpose of where he was doing things. Yeah, I remember he was just a producer before he became a rapper, and he became a designer. Like, you gotta remember, like, it's a whole stepping stone once you realize what you was in it for. The man sold out his jacket, that red jacket, in like 24 hours. It'll come out for 6 months. I was like, this guy's a genius, bro. I don't think nobody understands the way this man moves. That's why I was like, yo, I might not be a fan of his music, but like more so getting in touch with it, I'm definitely a fan of his business moves. You can't knock it.
I fuck with Ye, man. I like the music. I like it all, man. I like the crazy stunts. I like it all.
Like I said, like, he was on fire. Like, oh, he's crazy. He's mocking God. I was like, you understand? He's selling. But you gotta listen to the music. You do not pay the music.
Yeah.
The music, the marketing. The dude's a genius. Honestly, I see why he's a billionaire even more now. Everything he's doing, I'm telling you, it's gonna benefit him in the long run.
But I want to bring out something that just popped in my head. Sometimes it's weird, but people will reconnect easier with sometimes negativity than they would positive things. And it's a weird connection that people have, but sometimes you look at like something similar to like we can bring up black people. Black people have been abused mentally, physically, spiritually within this country. You know, we're just going to focus on this country.
Uh-huh.
But we have black people within this same country that choose not to see that reality.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they know the traumatic experiences that our ancestors went through, they just la 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 la, and you can't tell them nothing about those traumatic experiences. So sometimes people reconnect with negative things. You could take somebody that's probably in toxic situations. They can become accustomed so much to that it's easy for them to reconnect with that toxic, you know what I'm saying, energy or relationship or whatever. So it's harder for people to reconnect with positive things sometimes because it takes maybe a little bit more work. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it takes a little bit more self analogies. But I just wanted to bring that up, that pay attention to what you reconnect to. If you forgive people in toxic situations, it ought to be 10 times easier for you to forgive somebody that wasn't so toxic. Some people get family passes, like no matter what they do, that's still family, so I'm gonna reconnect. No. You know what I'm saying? You
Well,
are
we ostracize people. Yeah.
You are what you are connected to and who you are connected with. You know what I'm saying? Your network is your net worth.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like we're gonna wrap up the subject, but something he said I definitely wanted to bring up is it's very easier to reconnect with negative energy than it is positive energy, right? You know, we hear the statement all the time, hey, you can move out the hood, but the hood will still be in you. Like, oh, how the saying go? Oh, that's how it
You
goes?
can leave the hood, but the hood is
always in you?
take the dude out the hood, can't take the hood out the dude.
Yeah. You
like
take the, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even with that mind state, you know, I remember like I said so a couple times, I always had to remind women I talk to sometimes, you know, depending on how they run their mouth. I was like, you talk to a man with money, you talk to a nigga with money.
Talking to a gangster.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I always differentiate the two is the way they move, 100%. And I think a lot of people, you know, get that misconstrued all the time. Is because he got money, he's supposed to be something like this. Bring him around people I know, you don't fucking fit in. Like, a perfect example, man. My brother was talking about, like I said, I listened to Kevin Sims earlier. He was talking about the power of like, sometimes you don't need to reconnect with people at all. Nothing has grown with them from the jump, right? I remember wanting to bring other people along, with, I said this on the podcast before, that are in higher places, higher positions, right? So those type of men, believe it or not, they're very generous. They'll pay the bill, do favors for you, and don't expect nothing in return. But at the same time, it's more so to see what kind of man are you, right? I had to separate myself from certain people because I realized, like, yo, no man should ever get comfortable with another man paying his tab or doing certain things for him. But to them, let's say we leave the place, right? I've been in scenarios when me and my homeboy, we out with these certain type of men. We leave the place like, damn, man, I ain't have to pay nothing. I was like, bro, you should never get used to that shit. I was like, I know how these men think. And we get so accustomed to wanting to be the person that can cover the tab, cover this, cover that. But at the same time, if contribution is not being made, what's the point of connecting with you anymore? Like, I didn't got ostracized before in scenarios like that in my younger days. That's why when they say like the streets is no different from business, it's not. People want to see what you're able to do after they've done favors for you for so long. Like, yo, is this person a roach or he's really able to contribute? And you know, I remember one time trying to picking up the tab before. I told myself, like, bro, if I don't even eat for the fucking week, I at least got to do something, even if it's just picking up the first round of drinks. You know what I'm saying? It's just the small contributes that you do that keep you within that inner circle. And it'd be cool, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you're just there to be there, cool. But I'm always trying to get up to the next level. Had a homeboy that invited me to a dinner last Saturday before, you know, for before Sunday was my daughter's birthday, but the party was Saturday. He was kind of sick for a little bit, and he was like, "Hey, I want to introduce you to some wealthy people." You know, I asked him, "Hey, what's the dress code? What's the time?" I'm ready to be prompt. You know what I'm saying? I always tell X, like, bro, it's the way no matter how you see us, it's the way we're gonna always conduct itself outside of here. So I was just more appreciative of being offered the opportunity. You know, my homeboy, but he had ended up getting like the COVID shot, but been feeling better later on. I was able to attend that meeting, but it lets me know, because he's part of a political party now, I must be doing something right in order to be invited in those type of positions. Because I haven't seen the brother since high school, and then we end up reconnecting. Like I said, there's power in reconnecting, and people can remember the positive that's in you. the things that you've done for them, the things they seen you do for other people. Because if I reconnect with you and you still talking about, yeah, man, you know, I got the hoes. I'm like, bro, I really don't want to fucking be around you, bro. That's the quickest way for me not to talk to you. If your accomplishments as a man is still talking about fucking chicks after 30, I don't want to talk to you, bro.
All right. Yeah, I agree. We can close out on that one. You got anything else?
Oh man, that's it. Just a little story time right there, man. Look, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to the channel. Give us your experience about reconnecting, whether it was with people, places, or things. I feel like this is a subject like I had to get across. It's one of, like I said, we do fun subjects, we do goofy subjects, but it was kind of interesting to hear his side at the same time, because I kind of did come in with the state of mind like, yeah, you know, some of this shit is stupid, but at the same time, it's powerful in the end. You know, that's why they always say, you know, when you go to therapy and counseling, they want you to reconnect on certain bases, so you relive it, so you can get through it.
Right. All right, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Talking That Talk Official Podcast. We out. You got the outro music?
Man, I'm going back to this Kanye real quick, man. That's what
Jesus.
Guess who's going to jail tonight?
Hopefully not me.
Then
Then you in jail. I'm in jail tonight.